Hello guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you an easy way that you can make your shoulder pad. If this sounds like something you're going to be interested in, then you have to keep watching. So these are the materials that I'm going to be needing for this. This is a half-inch foam. This is just the regular foam that you know, the one that you lay on, all right? But just that this comes in a flatter form. So I'm using a half-inch foam. There's also a 1-inch foam. So do well to use whichever one that you want. So I think the width of the foam, like how thick it is, depends on how much you want your shoulder pad to really rise. So for me, I'm using a half-inch foam. So then you can see this one is quite soft and it's really fluffy. Then you're going to be needing maybe like a lining or the leftover of your fabric that you're going to be using to cover this up eventually when you're done making it. Okay, so here is a top that I already have. This is what I'm going to be using to illustrate this. So you feel free to just use whichever top that you're working with, but I'm going to advise that you attach your shoulder pad, or rather work on your shoulder pad before you even go ahead to add your sleeves. But this is an already existing top, so I just had to make use of it. Okay, so then I'm going to be using my tape and I'm going to be measuring from the very tip of my shoulder to the very end of my shoulder, including the allowance that you added for stitching. So for mine, we have 4 inches here. You can see we have 4 inches from that point to the very end of my shoulder. We have 4 inches. So then in a paper, I'm going to be creating a pivot line, like you know, that tiny line that I pointed, and I'm going to be marking that 4 inches all the way around, as you can see in this video. Okay, so go ahead and just mark this all the way around. So I'm going to have to like put this in a fast mode so we are really quick with this. Okay, so once you're done doing that, you would want to highlight the lines, which is what I'm doing right now. So highlight the lines so it is visible for you to see. So the moment you're done doing that, the next thing you're going to be doing is just to go ahead and cut this circle. You can see you have a circle right now. So go ahead, bring in your paper, scissors, and cut this circle all the way around. Okay, so we are done cutting this out, and this is what we have. So then you're going to be bringing in your foam, whatever foam that you've chosen to work with. I'm just going to go ahead and pin this down so that I can go ahead and cut this out all the way around. Like I'm just going to cut out this circle, cut out a foam like this circle. Okay, this is super easy. Like this tutorial is one of the easiest you are going to see on the internet about how to create a shoulder pad. It's super easy. It's something that even a beginner can do. It's a DIY, like do it yourself. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Then I'm going to just unpin, and when I do that, I will fold this shoulder pad over into 2 places, and I'll go ahead and divide it, like cut it through. So I'm dividing the shoulder pad into 2, and for me to get 2 equal halves, I had to fold this into 2, and I will cut this using my scissors. So you can see what this looks like. I now have 2 shoulder pads, so one on the left side of your shoulder and one on the right side of your shoulder. So next, you're going to be bringing in again the round circle that you've created on your paper, and then you will bring in whatever material that you're using, either your lining, your leftover fabric, whatever the case may be. But I'm going to advise that you make sure that even if you're using a lining, if you're not using the leftover fabric, make sure that you are using a lining that is the same color with your fabrics for a neat finishing. So you're going to be cutting 2 of this because remember we have 2 shoulder pads. You're using this to wrap that over. So I'm trying to fold my my lining into 2 places because I want this 2, like I want 2 of this circle. So I'll just go ahead, pin this down, and I will cut it out. Just follow me, guys. So if you've not subscribed to my channel, it is a good time for you to do that right now. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time that I upload a new video. So this is what it looks like. We have two pieces of this, which we're going to be using to wrap our shoulder pad. Can you see? We have two pieces. So then we're going to be bringing in our shoulder pad before we wrap it. Then you are going to trim out like half of an inch on the curved area of the shoulder pad. This is because you don't want this poking out in any way from your clothing, okay? So you're more like giving this like a half-inch spacing from the the tip, the start of your neckline, or yeah, that'll be the end of your neckline either way, but I'm sure you understand. So I'm cutting out half of this, and then still on that curved part, I'm going to go ahead and I will trim down the edges. Now I'm not cutting out, I'm just trimming down. Just watch what I'm doing. I'm trimming down the edges of this curved part, because since this curved part is going to be facing our neckline, you want it to be as flat as possible. It shouldn't be as fat as the straight part that'll be facing the armhole area. Okay, you can see what I'm doing. I'm trimming this out because I need this place to be as flat as possible. Please be careful not to cut through. We're just trying to trim down. So you can see that place is a bit flatter than this place. Can you see? So I'm going to go ahead and trim down a little bit more. Then once you're done doing that, the next thing you're going to be doing is just to bring in the lining that you've cut out into a circle, and you're going to be using it to wrap this over. Okay, so you can see. So I'm placing that and I'm going to use it to just wrap it over. So make sure you align this properly. Very important. So once you're done aligning it properly, use your pin to secure the lining to your foam. This tutorial is quite short. That's to tell you how easy it is. It's a DIY shoulder pad, like super easy, like super easy. So you're going to go ahead and you pin this. Okay. So once you're done pinning, take to your sewing machine and sew. Like you can see my hand, just sew like 0.25 inches. So you can see what this looks like. I've gone ahead to sew it. Afterwards, next I'm going to take to my weaving machine and I will weave the edges like I'm showing you. So let's go and do that. I've sewn and I'm going to go and weave. Carefully weave, please, guys. Okay, here you can see I've gone ahead to weave this out, and you can see how neat, how clean this is looking, guys. It's looking super clean. Okay, so then if you do not have a weaving machine handy, don't worry, I'm going to show you what to do. You don't need to be afraid at all. You're going to just get a bias strip, okay? Get a bias strip that you're going to, of course, the same color that you are going to be using to finish off that side. If you don't have a bias strip ready, then use whatever fabric that is available to you, or whatever fabric you're using as the encasing for this, to create a bias strip. So just watch what I'm doing. After you're done creating your bias strip, or you have a bias strip ready, so you're just going to bring this like so and open it up a bit and place the curved edges into the center of the bias, and then you will just go ahead. Can you see? So you just open this up a bit, yeah, and then you just fold over like into two. I hope this is really quite clear. So you, as you've done that, you just go ahead and carefully sew. Use your sewing machine to sew this all the way around, and you will still achieve a neat finishing. So now it's time for us to attach this to our clothing, or our top rather. So then the thick part is going to be facing the armhole, and the light part will be facing the neckline area. Okay, like the very flat part will be facing the neckline area. So here I'm going to try to like mark this, like the center point. So I'm marking the center point for each, and by achieving that, I just had to fold this into two to achieve those ends. So I'm marking a straight line. This makes it really easy for me. Then I'm going to be placing this straight line right on the joining of the shoulder, like the center line of the shoulder, that joining from the front to the back. Okay, so I'm going to place it that way, and I will go ahead and pin. Like I initially mentioned, I said this is best attached before you insert your sleeve. And if you're doing that, make sure that you are attaching this to the very end of your shoulder, like right on your stitching allowance for your sleeve. Yes, don't attach and maybe leave like half of an inch to add your sleeve. No, attach it to the end of that shoulder, because you're going to be adding your sleeve over it. Okay, yes, you're going to be adding your sleeve over it. Your sleeve needs to like sew onto the shoulder pad. Please, I just hope that this is really, really understandable. Okay, so after pinning this, I'll just take it to my sewing machine. So because I have already added my sleeve to this, I'm going to have to sew, instead of sewing from the front like this, I'm going to have to sew from the back, so that I will see the line that I will already work to it for the sleeve to be able to, attach this. Okay, so I'll just follow that line and go ahead and stitch it. So I've stitched it at this point. So the next thing I'm going to be doing now is to stitch the center point, like hold on the center point. Now this part, you can either use your needle to just your hand needle to sew this, or you can just sew right on the center of that line that I'm pointing at, right on the center of that joining. It's not going to show on the other side. So I have done that. You can see how secure the shoulder pad is. Yeah, that's how it's going to be. Really, really secure. And guys, we've come to the end of this tutorial. Thank you so much for seeing this video. I hope to see you come back and watch more of my video. Bye.